relationship between an outfield player and an assistant coach, or even the head coach. It is something that a trust, and he's always been there for Neuer, and Neuer felt Bayern getting rid of this guy for whatever reasons, even though Nagelsmann can of course decide who he wants as a goalkeeping coach, but they did it at the point when Neuer was out injured on crutches, and he felt that was a bit of a low blow, and he wanted to speak out about that. Now, did it make a huge difference for this Bayern team? I'm not so sure, because Neuer has not been able to play. Jan Sommer has been playing quite well. Of course, you prefer Neuer to be in goal, but Neuer has been, by his standards, also not quite the Neuer that we've come to admire. He's perhaps not at his very best anymore. We'll have to wait and see how he comes back from his injury, but I wouldn't put the finger on that. But it did show you that there were some sort of atmospheric problems with some of the more senior players and Nagelsmann.
Right at the other end of the pitch, he's gone for Musiala tonight. Thomas Muller is on the bench. There's an opportunity here for Thomas Muller to make some kind of Champions League history with 100 Champions League wins, which would just be incredible. He's got the option of his experience off the bench, but why do you think he started with Musiala?
I think it was more between Müller and some of the other players. I think he wanted Coman and Sané for the pace. I think it was between Coman and Müller, with Musiala then shuffling out wide. I don't think he can leave Musiala out, because he's been so good and so wonderful in some of the things he can make happen for the players around him. The key reason, apart from the pace and the breaking that we talked about, is that Müller's main job in this team is to be the general for the pressing. He organizes the press.
In these areas here, shoots with his left foot, but look at the anticipation. He knows he's got to finish on his right. And this is what I'm seeing in his game now, more confidence. He believes he's a Man City player now. I think when he first went there, he was like, oh, I'm passing to De Bruyne, I'm passing to whoever's better than me. But now he thinks he deserves to be there.
Perfect. All right, so we're getting closer and closer to kickoff. City's Erling Haaland and Bayern's Matthijs de Ligt, they both face off even against each other in Manchester, and they are just two of the constellation of stars who are getting set to shine on this giant quarter-final stage.
We out here came to show and prove. We're not gonna stop until you move. Gonna take it home, cause we in the zone. Stay ready for the win, even though we're gonna move it like the best. Moving like the best. We're gonna move it like the best. Moving like the best. We're gonna move it like the best. Moving like the best. And we move it like the best. Moving like the best. We're gonna move it like the best. Moving like the best. And we.
False alarm.
It matters where you stay.
Fish tacos?
Carl. Oh, yeah.
Hilton for the stay.
There's satisfaction in sacrifice, in spilling blood, sweat, and tears, in knowing that you left it all on the floor and never threw in the towel. Well, except to clean up the mess. Giving it all for your team is worth every drop. Modelo, brewed for fans with a fighting spirit.
Hey, check this out. You can pre-qualify with CarMax fast and easy. Did you just block me?
I was protecting your credit score.
Pre-qualifying with CarMax has no impact to your credit score.
Sorry, force a habit.
Pac-Man does it like a snack man. Wonderful pistachios. Get cracking.
We love our new home.
There's so much space.
But we have ants.
Expired. Expired. Expired.
It's a lot of house. I hope you can keep it clean.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Non-drowsy Claritin knocks out symptoms from over 200 allergens without knocking you out. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Live Claritin Clear.
Let's eat, yo-yo. Let's eat, yo-yo. Let's see if you can keep up with the beat, yo-yo. Take a seat, yo-yo. Time to feast, yo-yo. Then let's see what you can really do for me, yo-yo. Crab legs, duck eggs, bon appetit, yo-yo.
The pepperoni on Panera's new toasted baguette is sliced a little thicker to hold more flavor. So when fresh mozzarella melts over it, that detail will be big. New toasted baguettes. Cater your next event with Panera.
You should stay.
I didn't think that this is what we were doing. I thought I had this handled, and she shows up in my home.
If you tell someone to stop calling you the 20th time you pick up, what you've taught them is that 20 calls is what it takes.
I'm not going to be ignored, Dan.
I did not kill that woman, and I'm going to prove it.
This is a wild game of survival.
New toasted baguettes. Cater your next event with Panera.
Dominoes. We got this.
People say that he's cumbersome, that he's slow and that he's predictable. He isn't.
I don't box like Dillian White, don't fight like Derek Chisholm.
No one wants to fight Joe Joyce.
Ready when you're ready. I'll fight like Anthony Josh, get my hands on a crush, them man's getting crushed. Them man think they're gang but they're hiding. You don't want to see my fury like Tyson.
This program is brought to you by Pepsi Max, UEFA Champions League official sponsor.
Bayern Munich, a championship Europe for the 6th time. It's Rodrigo again, what a comeback! It's heartbreak for Manchester City.
I'm not trying to be a Pep, he's just a huge influence.
They obsess over the details of the game.
Chelsea have won the Champions League. Spare a thought for Manchester City. Off goes Cancelo. 3 in 3 for Leroy Sané. Mane into double figures in his Bayern career.
Haaland! This is incredible! It's the Erling Haaland show! Müller, beautiful strike. Musiala.
Grealish! Cool and classy. He deserves a goal today.
It's De Bruyne. There's the shot and there's the goal!
Outstanding from Manchester City.
We wonder if this is their year.
Oh, we're close now. The greatest competition, the two greatest teams in it this season, both with the talent to win it. One of them won't even make the semi-finals of this season's Champions League. Just to remind you, there's one other match also happening this evening. Our focus is on City against Bayern Munich here on BT Sport 1 and also on BT Sport Ultimate. Over on BT Sport 2, you can see Benfica up against Inter, and as you can see, the crowd getting into the spirit of it there as they gather in the tunnel here in Manchester. And actually, Jolien, talking of the crowd, this could be their last Champions League game here this season. At best, they're going to get one more after this. They need to be on their best form as well tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think they were their last fixture as well against Leipzig. I think they recognised what their involvement and their impact on the team. Pep's referenced them numerous times, and they've played the part, so credit to them, and hopefully they can play a part tonight.
Feels like such a big period for City. You know, the Premier League is potentially within their grasp once again. The Champions League has now reached the crucial stages. This is where, for those players, it really matters.
Yeah, I mean, the margins are so fine, and Manchester City have been so close in the Champions League. They'll be desperate for it. They're the best team in the competition for me. They're the favourites at home, and Bayern will want to try and take a good result back to Munich, but I think City are favourites without question.
Right, predictions time.
I'm going to go for a Man City 2-1 win. I just think that at home, the crowd backing them as well. I'm going to go for them.
I'm slightly more cautious than that. I'm going to go for 1-1.
Yeah, I think City win. I think Bayern score, but I think City win. I'm going to go 2-1 with 7-3.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your company for the past hour. You can hear the crowd out there already. Well, they're prepared. I hope you are as well. Let's hope this is a game that lives up to the billing. Two of the greatest teams, many of the greatest players playing in world football at the moment. Let's get to it.
This is a heavyweight contest in every sense of the word, and we get to sit back and enjoy it. When you look around the stadium and look at the two lineups, there are superstars everywhere. This is what the Champions League is all about. We could be set up for a fantastic night here at the Etihad. It's Manchester City versus Bayern Munich in the Champions League. So we have a team that's won it 6 times against a team that's desperate to win it for the first time. And this is Manchester City. Pep Guardiola selects 10 of the players that started at Southampton tonight. The only change is Bernardo Silva for Riyad Mahrez. The role of John Stones is interesting. He could be much more orthodox in his positional play tonight and may even line up as a centre-back. Elsewhere, Erling Haaland's got 10 goals in his last 3 matches, and captain İlkay Gündoğan played against Bayern in the 2013 final for Borussia Dortmund. Pep Guardiola and Thomas Tuchel, 2 men who are masters of their profession. Referee tonight is Jesus Gil Manzano, the captains İlkay Gündoğan and Joshua Kimmich. And Thomas Muller are all on the bench. Deo Upamecano, Leon Goretzka and Leroy Sané come in after missing the weekend game against Freiburg. 20-year-old Jamal Musiala is the leading scorer of the starters tonight with 15 goals. It's a side full of pace and with plenty of goals in it, and there's plenty in reserve on the bench if necessary. Erling Haaland was brought to the club for nights like this one. Can he beat City's Champions League difference maker this season? And there is Jamal Musiala, a young player who slipped through England's fingers, but Bayern have him and Germany have him. And he's a key part of what they do. There is the scene at the Etihad Stadium. It's the first time the teams have played against each other in the knockout stages. It's also the first time that Pep Guardiola's coached against Bayern.
Wanted?
Football at its very best.
Absolutely. It's a meeting, isn't it?
Seem to lose them now. Obviously, they lost at the weekend against title rivals, Porto. But that was their first loss in a very long time.
Be a lot easier for Ake to deal with.
It's another fantastic side, Porto, as if they were beaten by a team really on their level. So they're flying in the Portuguese division, and I think they'll look at this Inter Milan side, they'll smell blood, they'll see that run of form, and they'll know that they can capitalise. They're playing some really good football this season. I've seen bits of them in the Champions League as well, and coming against sides, and they're real heavy hitters this season. I think dark horse to go a little bit further in the competition and put some pressure on some of the bigger boys.
Weiterhin auf der rechten Seite. It was only the top of the Portuguese Primeira Liga, as Grimaldo has possession for Benfica on this near left-hand side, has support in the form of Chiquinho. We'll go back towards Vlachodimos. Now looks for some support. Go long down the right-hand side, looking for Gonzalo Ramos. Now with a survey down the line, looking for any man in yellow. He's not going to find the teammate this time around. Goes back towards Vlachodimos. It's end-to-end in the sense of the ball being in both halves, but it's not really falling to either team possession-wise. This ball's flicked by the left boot of the number 95 Bastoni. Dzeko can't flick it on towards Nacho Martinez. Grimaldo can now look to try and bring this ball further up the field. Neither side really able to get much of a strong grip of these opening 3.5 minutes.
No, it's been very end-to-end, like you said, but also just battling for possession. Neither side able to take the ball down, but we are now seeing Benfica settle into a period of possession in which they want to control this game early on. They want to shut out any danger that to be possessed. They've got that danger up front with the two strikers, Martinez and Dzeko, both having fantastic seasons in the Serie A. I think we want to try and limit their danger, and they're doing that to good effect so far in this game. They're just moving the ball from left to right, and they've got to wait for that opening. They'll be patient, and the cracks may start to emerge.
Ball down the right-hand side now for João Mario, finding Gonzalo Ramos. Mario again on the right, will look to find the young striker in Ramos, well defended by players behind the ball and nullify the attacking threat of Inter Milan. As the Serbi finds DeMarco on the left, being held up by the right-hand side of Gilberto. Now with Brozovic away from Ramos. Now with Darmian. Inter Milan having a lot of the possession in these early exchanges, dictating play, but still neither side able to have a shot in anger. These opening 6 minutes or so as DeMarco breaks on the left. It's a dangerous ball in. It's rather clumsily dealt with by Morato, and suddenly we have our first corner kick of the game.
It's Morato to come into this side. I mean, with Otamendi suspended, he's coming to this Champions League side. Only his second appearance in the Champions League this season. He played against Club Brugge, but big boots to fill with Otamendi, that experienced head in that.
Byline, but the Canadians cross goes in towards the far post, a header by Gundogan over the bar.
Yeah, first real chance, half chance maybe, nicely worked down the right hand side, good footwork by Bernardo, back in by Kevin De Bruyne, that lovely inside right position he picks up, whips it towards the back post. You know who he's aiming for, a former Borussia Dortmund man in Erling Haaland, but it's another former Dortmund man in Gundogan who gets the header, just too high for him though, and over the crossbar.
Stones steps onto another errant pass from a Bayern defender, this time Upamecano, and so City established possession back in the Bayern half. They've had the better of the opening exchanges, had the two opportunities, two sighters of goal really, from Haaland and Gundogan, but yet to really force Sommer into doing anything significant. Now it's a loose ball there from Gundogan back to Haaland and snapped up by Kimmich. He finds Zani crossing the halfway line, options left and right. Zani moving out towards the right now and feeds it to Koeman up against Ake. Back to Zani, edge of the box, but they're forced backwards. The City got back into their shape very quickly, and then they're just keeping possession now, the German champions, with Upamecano and De Ligt. De Ligt scored a cracking goal in a recent Bayern win. I think it was the weekend against Freiburg, was it?
Yeah, Freiburg, a bit of revenge as well, because Freiburg had knocked them out of the DFB Pokal in the previous fixture. 53 minutes on the clock, maybe lacking a bit of inspiration, and De Ligt pops one in for 25 yards.
Yeah. Almost Vincent Kompany-esque, or maybe we should say Michael Keane-esque now, is Goretzka on the ball, plays it down the left-hand side and finds Zane, once of this parish. He goes back towards Davis, who's shown plenty of ambition in the early stage. He goes on a run now, but he could be out of position as Bernardo wins the ball back from Zane, and there's a chance there, 2-on-1 down the right. Bernardo still going, and he just took on one man too many as Goretzka makes a well-timed challenge and knocks it back to De Ligt. De Ligt playing keep ball with the goalkeeper there as they now move it into midfield. Musiala's fell there by a solid Akanji challenge, and the referee's given a free kick.
Yeah, it was the meat in the Man City sandwich there, wasn't he? Musiala, a little touch that says Jesus Gil Manzano, the referee. Pep Guardiola's not happy, then told to get back into the technical area by the fourth official, Jose Luis Muniera. Bayern don't really make too much for it though. You feel going backwards with that free kick, very much a case of the feeling the way into the game. They know they don't quite have a physical threat up front. Eric Choupo-Moting's out of a knee problem at the moment, of course. He didn't really get a like-for-like replacement for Robert Lewandowski, and they're going to try and play the way around and through City rather than over the top. That's a nice ball by Jan Sommer, though, and maybe a break could be on Pavard into Gnabry.
Yeah, Gnabry's just come off the front here to link things up with Koeman out on the right, but he's double banked here with two defenders in front of him, so knocks it back into Goretzka. Now Kimmich chipping on over the top. That's a nice run here from Gnabry. Knocks it back edge of the box, and Koeman just got his couldn't quite get the shot away, and it's won back by City. Still Bayern on the edge of the box now, and now it's going to be a pop from distance by Davies. Takes a fairly skewed angle from the boot and goes well wide of target.
Yeah, a bit of a snapshot in the end, wasn't it, from Davies? You see what he's doing, just drags it wide of the target by some distance rather. That's quite nice by Bayern Munich, moving down the right-hand side. Again, the fluid front four all getting involved. Davies, who was poor defensively on a couple of occasions so far, really, against Bernardo Silva, getting the shot away. It wasn't a great one. Goretzka has fouled Jack Grealish. Just a note of admin, I suppose. Only Joshua Kimmich of the starting 22 on a yellow card and in danger of missing the second leg next week, next Tuesday. No, next Wednesday, won't it?
Yeah, and these games now come thick and fast, don't they, for these quarterfinals? Of course, the last 16 games were played over the course of, I think, 3 weeks separating them. I think when you get to the games played within 6 days or 8 days for the for this particular this fixture, I don't think you get much of a difference between the games. You know, form can't change much in a week, can it?
No, it can't. And they're fabulous, aren't they? The way things set up, they have a nice feel with it. Still being a bit light in the evenings as well, and there's almost a feeling of hope as we go into these games. And they all never seem to disappoint the last day of the Champions League.
No, well, this one's been an intriguing battle so far. 11.5 minutes gone, still goalless at the Etihad Stadium. Bayern giving as good as they get, though, and coming forward now with Gnabry's poor layoff, though, straight to Rodri, and then he knocks a clearance up towards Gundogan. He heads it back to Ake, and then it's played out to Grealish. Quickly back to former Bournemouth defender. City in a sort of 3-2-4-1 shape in possession, which can move to a back four, although I've not seen John Stones leave that middle area of the pitch so far, even when Bayern are in possession. So it looks like it is pretty much a back three, a box in midfield, two wide men, striker Haaland, who doesn't get involved in the build-up play too much, as Bayern now, again, a foul, looked to be a foul on Musiala there by Akanji. The referee lets this one go, and City pick up possession and come down the left-hand side this time. Gundogan into Grealish, then De Bruyne, just manipulating the ball and trying to feed it back towards Grealish, but it looks like Pavard had his number there, and he lets the ball run onto the line. It never went out, though, so he had to play that one. In the end, it's back via Upamecano to Sommer for a clearance, given away by Gnabry, but he's busy and he's trying to close down City players, as again, Stones, the central midfielder, plays it back to Ruben Dias. He steps out of defence and chips a pass out to the right. Loads of space now for Bernardo Silva. 2 in the box to aim for. In fact, that's down to 1 now because Gundogan's come short. Now Haaland is joined by De Bruyne in the box, but still Bernardo is twisting and turning. Now he fires across him, but it's met firmly by Kimmich's clearance. Comes back towards Bernardo, but the Portuguese is beaten by Zane. 50-50, one back by Akanji. Now fed to Bernardo again. He's boxed out by Musiala. Good body strength there from the Bayern attacker. Dodgy ball back to Sommer, and he almost dwelt on it with Haaland closing in on him. That was so close to Haaland knocking the ball in the back of the net, and Sommer's very fortunate there that he just managed to get that ball away.
Yeah, the ball should never have gone to Sommer. He's got good feet, but Haaland was straight onto him. There's Upamecano's not happy about Grealish's challenge, I think, but he just skid again the surface, just get across. Ooh, he even hit Haaland's right shin, I think it did. That could have gone anywhere. Very fortunate for the Bayern goalkeeper.
Yeah, that was almost catastrophic for the Bundesliga side there, but they live to fight another day. Still, it's all City, although a challenge goes in there by Gnabry on Ake to knock it out for a throw. Jan Sommer, veteran Swiss goalkeeper who's recruited in the wake of the injury to Manuel Neuer. Ball thrown into Haaland in the box, but he wasn't able to hold off his man, and then Jack Grealish is penalised for a foul on Kingsley Coman, which gives Bayern a pressure-relieving free kick. And now referee Jesus Gil Manzano is calling Grealish over to just lay down the law a little bit after that tackle.
Well, I don't really understand what Grealish's complaint is there. He goes directly behind Coman. Yes, he gets the ball, but he catches Coman, I think, with both his right leg and his left leg before he gets hold of the ball. And for me, I think that's quite patient refereeing, because that could have easily been a yellow card.
Ball kicked out by Sommer now, and then played long by Upamecano, but there's not any great sort of composure about the balls coming out of the Bayern defence at the moment. They're often hurried and they're often inaccurate, as now Gnabry just hooks his leg around the ankle of Rodri to bring him down and stop City's attack in its early stages. The rain is tipping it down in Manchester as they get the ball out to Grealish now. His ball inside is too... Try and work it through midfield. Goretzka finds Musiala. Good tracking back there by Bernardo. Helped out by Akanji, who wins a 50-50 with Davis. And he stabs it back, but only ultimately out of the play for a throw to Bayern, which they eventually get back in play via the throw to De Ligt. Upamecano on the halfway line. He's going square, and City press, although it's not too concerted. It's good enough to just keep Bayern in defence at the moment. Kimmich slips it out wide to the right. Looks like when the ball goes back to him, he wants City to slips it out wide. The ball goes back. The backwards passes from Bayern. That's a good little ball out to the right-hand side by Gnabry to Coman, and back to the former Arsenal man. Slipped inside to Musiala. He takes a touch, almost slipped himself there, but then gets it out to the left-hand side for Davis. Now it's poked onto one side.
Should be a bit of a shootout. There was noticeable that when it's almost as if John Stones doing a marking role on Musiala at times. When he goes forward, Stones drops into the back four, and then when Musiala drops into midfield, Stones follows him. It is interesting. Maybe Stones has gone back into the back four. We're seeing Rodri and Gundogan as a sitting two now, and almost a 4-2-3-1 for City.
Is Davis out on the left-hand side? Yeah, Stones, you're absolutely right there. Has gone into like an orthodox back four position now, so it just goes to show that Pep Guardiola is always tweaking things, always
going on there either at the moment. Still goalless in that one. Both sides really don't. All the sides, I don't think, will want to really show their hand too early. I don't want to jeopardise their chances quite early in the game, quite early in the tie, to be honest.
Back four. position now, so it just goes to show that Pep Guardiola is always tweaking things, always looking at how he can improve the
Nathan Ake, and Bayern will have a free kick. And of course, there might be a story brewing. Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich.
Lovely crossfield pass. Gilberto on the greatest of first touches, and he loses it. DeMarco in another poor clearance. Forced Gonzalo Ramos. Flicks out towards Jean-Marie, hits it on the volley, and it wasn't the worst of efforts by the former West Ham man, but he cuts across it. And it goes comfortably wide.
It was a really nice build-up from Benfica there. You thought the chance had just gone a-begging after that poor first touch from Gilberto on the right-hand side.
Side, he didn't agree with that decision. On a great run of domestic form, in fact, say just a great run of form, full stop. Really, they absolutely obliterated RB Leipzig in the previous round after drawing in Germany 7-0 when they got the back to the Etihad Stadium. That's a long ball out to the right that goes over Bernardo's head though, and out for a 2021 final. Last year it was the semi-finals when Karim Benzema and Real Madrid got the better of them. In the past they've fallen at the hands of Monaco as De Bruyne gets across into the near post, and a chance almost for Gundogan, and it's come off Kimmich and gone behind for a corner.
Diligent defending there by the Bayern captain marking his City counterpart, tracking back. Just getting the toe in, need to get it right as well, because any sort of misdemeanor there, you think it's a penalty. Yeah, it's interesting that these sides are European elite these days, Man City's ascent, but they've only played once in 24.
Body in the penalty area comes out to Grealish, who'd hung back, and he goes square to Bernardo, and then there's an awful pass back to De Bruyne, and well, things just not really happening for City at the moment. They have forced the two best moments of the game in the final third with a shot from Haaland, the header from Gundogan, but it's not really what we've become accustomed to seeing from City, who are usually so accurate in the final third.
Very accurate, and I think we should give a bit of extra credit to Bayern. An upgrade, but maybe they're through now.
Yeah, could be a chance here for Haaland. First time effort, he snatched at it. It was lovely work from City. That's what we have come used to seeing. It was from a throw-in. Rodri quick pass to Gundogan, then it was shipped on towards Grealish, laid off towards Haaland at a first-time strike. Perhaps he could have taken a touch on reflection there, but it was straight down Sommer's throat.
On the wraparound there, the Norwegian, if he was playing rugby, wasn't he? Maybe if he got the shout, he could have taken a touch out of his toes and into close to the goal, but Bayern coming forward this time themselves. A poor ball, Stones back there, but still not cleared. Eventually Rodri prodded away.
Yeah, it was a little moment there created in transition by Bayern Munich, and yeah, Thomas Tuchel liked that. He's got his dad's fishing cap on tonight and his long coat as well to protect him from the Manchester weather. But yeah, there's not been too many moments for him to applaud from his side so far, but he liked what they almost achieved there with a through ball. I think was it Gnabry who was involved, and he didn't quite pull it off.
Yeah, just trying to angle it through the outside of his right. The former Arsenal man. It's going to take some intricate, you feel, from Bayern Munich to break down the Manchester City defence. The way things are shaping up so far, it's a bit more about passion and power, isn't it, at the moment for Manchester City, but it's not clicking.
That's a nice little move by Musiala. Finds Sane, edge of the box. Sane, ball out towards Coman. Coman into the penalty area, looking for an angle to shoot. He goes again on the outside of Ake, but Ake matches him stride for stride and does really well in a one-on-one situation there. Forces him away from goal. And I think City even get the throw in. We've reached the midpoint of the first half at the Etihad Stadium, where it is still goalless in the reign of Manchester. I'll take you through to half-time. It's going to be Jack Ogleby.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Goalless scoreless in the other game as well between Benfica and Inter Milan. Of course, 2 more matches tomorrow, including Real Madrid against Chelsea, AC Milan and Napoli too, both available on this service. Ake's throws not the best, only goes through to Matthijs de Ligt, just inside his own half. Will roll it back to Jan Sommer. No Manuel Neuer at the moment, of course, broken leg. I think he's probably out for the season, and questions even about his future at Bayern. Seems a serious understudy Sommer, rather than maybe someone like Sven Ulreich, who's on the bench today. Alex Newball going well on loan at Monaco as well. So a number of subplots as Kimmich just rolls it out to De Ligt, who's got space to move into the summer signing from Juventus. Can he pop it over the top to Davies, who's made a good run? He's going to receive it too, over the head of Akanji. Davis has it, level with the 6-yard line, wide on the left-hand side, back to Musiala. Happy to slow the game down and play at his own pace. Davis, Coman's come over from the right to play on the left, chops it back to Sane. Musiala has it again, no one in the box at all really for Bayern. Kimmich now will dink it over the top to Pavard, who's got the height advantage on Grealish. Just a bit too strong though, he had to try and bring it down or maybe hook it back on the volley. Grealish just ran with his man, it'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, when you look at Manchester City, when they are forced to defend, there's not many openings there, are there? There doesn't seem to be many sort of weaknesses. You know, Bayern are quite a sort of physically robust side. There's not many openings there, are there? There doesn't seem to be many sort of weaknesses. You know, Bayern are quite a sort of physically robust side. You know, they've got height, but when the ball's chipped in the box, you don't fancy any of the Bayern players really to win the physical, you know, the one-on-one matchups there in the air. You know, there's no small City defenders. They're all both quick and good in the air, so it's going to be really hard, I think, for Bayern to create much, unless, you know, there's a bit of absolute, you know, pure quality that can unlock the defence, or a horrendous mistake. But City haven't been making many of those. You know, they've got a very good defence.
He's looking to change that down the left-hand side. Kanji misses his tackle, he slides in. Sane to the byline, back to Musiala. Strikes for goal. Great block by Diaz in front of him. Kept his arms behind him, and with his trailing left boot, made the block. Grealish ties up. Back to the goalkeeper. Hammer long, but maybe just signs Bayern grown in a bit of confidence.
Yeah, as soon as I said this one might be 0-0 for a while, Bayern come forward and get a really good opportunity. But again, City's defence closed ranks quickly, stopped the shot, and still Ederson hasn't made a save.
Yeah, with Rodri and Stones back.
Coman just able to keep the ball. City's turn to be organised. Kimmich looking for Pavard on the run on that side. Grealish was across there with him. Did enough. Good defending by Jack.
Musiala got it out of his feet. Just got a feeling that might have been heading in if it's. Slaloms through 1, 2, 3 tackles. Great time with the interception. Now Kevin De Bruyne on the break. He's got Haaland to his right. Grealish. Englishman hugging the touchline. First touch takes him backwards, so he recycles to Gundogan. Rodri 30 yards out, central position wide to Bernardo on the right hand side. Haaland towards the back post. Bernardo holds it up under pressure from Goretzka and Davis. In space, Rodri has it now. Heavy touch, but still has it. Left footed shot, maybe. What an effort! What a goal! 1-0 to Manchester City. It was all in goal.
Well, with so much attacking talent on the pitch, yeah, you probably wouldn't have had him anywhere near the top of your list to score the first goal. But they got Rodri turning onto his less favoured side. It's an unbelievable. Jan Sommer, you can't really criticise him for.
It just opened up for Rodri. The angle was perfect. Musiala overrun open up for him, and he just must. And, lovely movement on the ball.
You know, the power and the pace as well. It's just a fantastic hit. And Pep Guardiola, I mean, you can set up your team and the tactics, and you know, you can be spending hours on the training ground working out, you know, where players need to go. But that is just pure a player seeing that he's probably never done in his career before, and he's done it in such a big stage.
Yeah, first goal of the evening. More emphasis and onus on them now to come out and play. Summers attempted clipped ball forward, well dealt with by John Stones, and back into their own left. Cap and unbranded long jacket. It's almost like a golfer between sponsors, isn't it? It's always deliberate. There's so much dark colours on this evening. To the touch line, and Delic just intercepts the cross. It will be a throw Manchester City's way. De Bruyne wants to take it, takes the ball off a Kanji, goes short to Bernardo. It's backed in, whipped in, a bounce on here for Bayern. If you can get the ball away, not from the right position though. Goretzka in deep discussion with Jesus Gil Manzano, the referee. Upamecano then takes it, has to go backwards with his own left foot. Will switch the play to Davis. Lovely control by the Canadian. Gets out his feet over the halfway line. There wasn't as much movement as he would have liked in front of him. Actually, the last touch came off a. Guardiola's going to get a lecture from the fourth official because he's a good 15 yards along the touchline where his technical area ends. Throw by Akanji, back by Davis, eventually into the feet of Musiala. I thought it was foul, but he gets away from a couple of tackles. I think the offside flag's going to stay down, and Koeman has it. 6 yards out, but wide on the left-hand side. He cuts inside Akanji, but Akanji toe pokes it away. It's back to Davis, who's got space. Thinks about the cross, goes short to Garena. City half before Upamecano had to backpedal, then give it away to Grealish. Gnabry tried to foul him. The English got away. Now Haaland, not a great ball, but he works it away to De Bruyne. Advantage being played. Shot made from De Bruyne. Eventually works his way through to Grealish.
Oh, they're living on the edge, Bayern, aren't they? I mean, that last attack there, you just thinking it just needs the ball to fall really for City, and that they could be in with a great chance of going 2-0 up. It's City, obviously. From them, Bayern just need to sort of get a bit of control on the game. It's very chaotic, but I think that suits City at the moment. They're 1-0 up, and they're looking to get a second.
It is very chaotic, and I think you're right. It does suit City just to hit maybe some of the Bayern players. Just need 5 minutes to settle things down. There's a few looking at each other, a few words with the referee. City leading 1-0 thanks to that Rodri strike, as Akanji now over the halfway line. Looks to feed in Gundogan. It's a good ball as well. Oh, if it was 3 yards faster, he could have glanced that past the goalkeeper, who had to come out. Couldn't quite reach it though, Gundogan. That was a nice ball by Akanji. Gundogan drifting through the heart of the Bayern midfield. Upamecano wasn't quite sure whether to come or go. Didn't quite work out for the citizens, but they're certainly the side are on top. Musiala had a good effort for.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the block there by Ruben Diaz on the Musiala effort. It's only 2 minutes later where Kimmich has got a chance to block the Rodri effort. He turns his back on it. I mean, it was a great strike, and it was probably going to beat any kind of block that Kimmich could have produced. But when you look at the replay and you see Kimmich turning his back on the Rodri shot, it's not a good look.
No, he almost uses him, doesn't he? Kimmich now has it, dinks it through towards Sane. Well stepped in by Ake. nods it down to Grealish. Gundogan will get through a couple of tackles, and De Bruyne around the corner to Haaland. He looks up, surveys his options, gets fouled, advantage to be played. Not really much of an advantage because they didn't have a focal point because he was fouled, and Haaland City have to go backwards. Grealish tried to stop the game. The referee wasn't having it, but City still in possession. Bernardo had it. It was a nice ball in towards John Stones, who had space in front of him. Musiala didn't quite fancy tracking back. Backwards, and now Rodri into the corner to De Bruyne. Exactly 2-on-1 there. Manufactured out enough in De Bruyne. Deflecting cross in. Upamecano misreads it. Sommer comes out. It's in. No. Jack Grealish himself is down, and I think referee Manzano was indicating a corner kick.
This might be worth a VAR check though. So Grealish comes in. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a penalty. No, it's not going to be a penalty. But Sommer, he punches the ball, and then he has a bit of a go at Grealish. He sort of almost like fends him off as well afterwards.
Well, he doesn't. His arms are extended. He kind of flaps in a bit, doesn't it? Left leg up from the ground and deflects it over the crossbar. Another chance for Manchester City, leading 1-0. Kevin De Bruyne in the Manchester rain whips the ball in. It's over the top of Sommer, back into the danger zones by Haaland. Rodri and Diaz leave it for each other, still not fully cleared. The goalkeeper is in a bit of no man's land there. It's a lovely ball by De Bruyne. Then Diaz flicks it to Bernardo. Bayern still haven't cleared it. A bit of Bambi on ice there by Diaz, who fouls at least 3 players. He loses his footing. But it's play on as Sane down the right-hand side. He's got Coman to his left, but he might have to do it all on his own. He cuts inside onto his left foot. We've seen him do it so many times before. Gimmick with a low strike. Away by the retreating Grealish. Goretzka, 30 yards out, finds Musiala on the edge of the box. Inside left position. Cruyff turns away from Rodri. Didn't fancy it on his left foot. Rodri will get back. Assistance from Bernardo, and City have a chance to breathe again.
Yeah, brilliant recovery there from Manchester City. They did get caught out, as you mentioned, Bambi on ice stuff from Ruben Diaz in attack. And then obviously Bayern spotted he was out of position and went with a long crossfield switch of play out to the right, which initially got them in a great counter-attack position. But you saw there was only 2 Bayern players in the attack, 7 City players sprinted back to get numbers back there and snuff out the opportunity for Bayern.
Kimmich wide to Davis down the left-hand side. Coman now trying his look from the left. The number 11 shows too much of it to Bernardo. He slides in, makes a clean tackle. Goretzka now. This could be a shooting opportunity for the German international. No, goes back to De Ligt. Back to Goretzka. The 28-year-old will work it back to De Ligt and Upamecano. The Frenchman played so well in Les Bleus. Run to the World Cup final. De Ligt didn't see as many moments as he would have liked, you feel, for the Dutch in Qatar. Now Upamecano feeds a ball through. It was meant for Sane, cut out by Gnabry. And it just took the sting out of the move, really, for Bayern, but they still have it. Goretzka into Musiala, around the corner to Goretzka. Grealish again, he's been excellent in defence as well as attack this evening. Gets a toe poke in. It's back to John Stones, who all he can do is find his touch. It wasn't a very sympathetic ball by Manuel Akanji there, and Bayern again just maybe moving into the game. You struggle to see where the clear-cut chances are going to come from. Manchester City quite happy to play on the break. De Bruyne's forward. Was he fouled by Pavard? Yes, he was. I don't think it'll be any more than a free kick. Pavard can't quite believe it, but he might suggest that De Bruyne should have released it earlier towards Haaland.
Yeah, he's getting through a lot of work tonight, Kevin De Bruyne. Out of possession, particularly where he's pressing the Bayern defenders, and he's making some really unselfish runs out into wide areas where he can still influence the game. As he came in on his right foot there, Pavard got in an awful position, and in the end he's almost sort of just wrapped his arms around his waist there briefly, and the referee's right next to it. He's always going to give the free kick. But yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, I think he's having a great game off the ball. He's certainly an influence on the ball, but he just hasn't produced that killer pass usually associated with him yet.
Rodri, Stones, Akanji and Diaz all go forward. De Bruyne goes towards the back post. Akanji's there. Play on. There was a Bayern man down. It's hoisted by Stones towards Diaz, who gets the head away. Pavard helps it out. Then the foul surely by Bernardo against Koeman. Somewhat needless by the Portuguese. But they're not holding back Manchester City. All the back four plus John Stones going forward.
Yeah, and they're winning the first contact in the box on these crosses as well. So there's lots of things for Bayern to worry about at the moment. They're just getting manhandled really, and City look like they've got, well, more gears to go through still.
Yeah, a bit of a mismatch at times, but Bayern always looking dangerous on the break. A foul against Musiala. He wanted the advantage. He's then taken 15 yards ahead of where the foul took place. The referee standing where he wants it, and Bayern still, they've had 3 goes at it and not heed his call so far. Only taking the momentum out of their own move as Kimmich into Goretzka, turns into Musiala. Gnabry's just ahead of him. The ball bounces back to Musiala. Pavard wide, he's got Sane dancing inside. Ake sticking to his task, so Kimmich takes over. Now De Ligt, by looking to squeeze the game by pushing all their outfield players into the Manchester City half. Davis has it, rolls his foot over the ball as he surveys his options and goes back now to De Ligt, then Upamecano into Sane, central position. Thinks about going for a goal, instead goes wide to Koeman. Davis on the overlap. Koeman could shoot here. Was on target against Paris Saint-Germain in the away leg, of course. Sane now dances past one. Rodri gets a good tackle, and it's wide to Pavard. First time ball's not the best. It's over everyone. Musiala receives it, rescues it more to the point. At the back post, De Ligt, disguise ball into Koeman. Oh, almost a touch on his shins by Akanji. Koeman, though, stays on his feet, and Akanji actually makes a good recovery challenge as Koeman looks to dart down the left-hand side. Again, Bayern Munich coming into the game, but City are such a solid block in central areas.
Yeah, I think there's something for them down this left-hand side with Koeman now playing on this side and going up against Akanji. I think he can get the better of him on the outside, and it only maybe needs one moment like that to produce a goal. Also, Davis needs to come into the attack more down this left-hand side as well, but he's kind of been looked after by Bernardo Silva so far.
Yeah, Kimmich towards the back post, and De Ligt was in, but so was Nathan Ake with a header away. Musiala down the line, still has it, cuts it back towards the penalty spot, but only to Ilkay Gundogan, who will scuff it away more than anything, but found good territory. And now Davis will go all the way back to Jan Sommer. Manchester City still leading 1-0. Rodri with a goal after 27 minutes. We've had a stop in play. It's Manchester De Ligt who's down. Clinching his left ankle by the looks of it. They are a bit short of central defensive options. They've got loads of fullbacks on the bench. Have Bayern, Cancelo on loan for Manchester City. Daley Blind could drop in there, of course. Josip Stanisic too, but Mazraoui and Bounassa, the other defensive options. They do have Sadio Mane. We're going to see the incident again. Quite sure. Did he get caught by Diaz, who was defending the ball? What did you see that I didn't there? Sorry.
Yeah, he's twisted his left ankle as he was making a run. So there's no contact that's initiated. It's before he gets there, but he twists his left ankle on the turf. Maybe, possibly because of the wet surface. I don't know, but it looks like a painful one. He's obviously hobbled back to the halfway line, and then first opportunity where Bayern are back in possession.